Hello, we are going to learn how to use the character for a new line in JavaScript. That is backslash n. Okay. If you want to have a new line while coding in JavaScript, we usually use backslash n to have a new line. To use it first, let's have something we want to have. So let's define these sentences. This is a new school. It is called Smart Kids. So we are going to have a simple program. I shall type this first line and this second line. When you're programming to do this, we will have a new line character to separate the first line and the second. Okay. So how will we do this? First, so we shall have a variable. Let our variable be x. Okay. Then let our x be this statement. Is school. Let's use this one. Then we close it. Now in JavaScript or any other programming, when an expression or a sentence is closed using quotes, either single or double quotes, this one is called a string. So from here up to here, we have a string. String is like a sentence in programming. So having semicolon, that shows that is the end of the whole of this statement in programming. So this is essential to close. This one is essential to close an expression. Now, to include the second line, we shall add the character to indicate a new line. There are two ways you can use here. Either you can use the shortcut way where you plus then equate to line tab. Now, for the computer to translate this one to a new line tab, you cannot just write \n. You need to put it in quotes that you can use single or double. It is a must to use the quotes. If you doesn't use a quote here and just leave it. That way, the computer will not translate it as a new line tab, so we need to have it in quote. So our string X, on it, we are handing a new line tab, okay, \n. Now that one will hand a new line, which now we are going to write here. It is possible to hand strings, so we are going to hand with our second line, and to make it string, we must put it in quote, either single quote or double quote. For this case, we are going to choose single quote. This is a school. This is called Smart Kids. And then you close your string. And then you close using semicolons. So if we run this one, we expect to have the first line, which says this is a school, and then this character which we have added to our string will introduce a new line, and on that new line we are handing this second part, which is called smart keys. So we expect this one to be our second line. So we are just going to run this. We are just going to run this. To run this, to see that, we have to use console.log our variable x. So we are going to see whether we have a good program. So we run this. Let's run it using the code above. If you run that, this is what you get. This is a school. It is called Smart Kids. We can also twist. Let's say have a new name here, light. It's called lights. If we run this one, you see, your program is okay. So that's how we use new line tab in JavaScript. First, you define your variable. For example, here it was x. You give it a value. For example, give it a string value. Then you have to hand on that string the new line tab character, and you have seen it has to be enclosed either using single quote or double quote. Then if you want to hand on that new line you are trying to create a string, then you hand a string. If you wanted to hand something else, for example, let's say hashtag, you hand, then you close, then console.log is just to see the output which you expect. Of course, even it has to be enclosed with semicolons. Then you run, you expect to get 2 lines because you have used the new line character. That's how you use new line character in JavaScript and other programming languages. So in case of anything, of a question, a comment, don't fail to ask.